Hi guys, Kyle.
Sarah.
West Coast Wednesdays. It is June 24th. Welcome to the Gradio.
Yes, yes, yes. We have some additions in the Gradio this week.
You are now welcome.
Welcome sign coming up, our garage door opener, and of course our WCS. We're getting fancy up in here. Next week you're going to see one more thing on the wall.
Those are lit up.
We're pretty excited. We're going to be doing that tonight.
Oh, are we? Oh.
I'm trying to, like how I'm talking them into that. Hope you've gotten a chance to go check out our membership program. If you are already a member and that's why you're on this class today, thank you. We're excited. There's new video for you. There's toolbox. There's going to be more being uploaded all weekend long. So keep coming back to KyleSarah.com. If you haven't signed up yet, go get that done. Yeah?
All right.
All right. So today we are going to whip it good.
We are whipping it today. So to get this started, basic whip, guys, having the ability just to manage the follower through your time, being able to control the distance through time is something we have to make sure that we're in control of. So we'll do this on the other side here. Just a basic whip to start. We've got our 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, one of the things that I like to do as a leader is have consistency within my initiations and my follow-throughs. I like to watch my follower move equally through the 2-beat increments so that when I do decide as a leader to inflect or interpret any music, I then have the ability to show my follower that there's a constant within my flow so that when the variables happen, they're very clear.
Something for me, I feel like whips many times lock us down as followers, and I've learned to free the lower half of my body so I'm able to make decisions, hesitations, stretches. I may not be able to say it, but I can do it, like for sure. So that's what I'm going to be working with you today, followers. I want to talk about how we can get counterbalance engaged, how we're going to move through our legs, how we're going to stretch through our hip to redirect ourselves, and then we're going to add some things for you to work on this week stylistically.
All right, so leaders, 2-beat increments, we talked about this in our toolbox. It's called 2-beat swing. If you haven't taken that yet, go back and check it out. But ultimately, it's about getting my follower to flow through the 2-beat increments at the same time. In a whip, if we break that down in that concept, what happens is we have more movement on the back half than we do on the front half of a whip. If we think about this, the number of steps is 1 to 2 to 3 and. Everything's finished. So we've got 3.5 steps going this direction, maybe even just full 3 steps. Now I've got the other 5 that are going to go back this direction. My 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are going to go down there. So I've got to think 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And if you've noticed, I've now navigated myself further down line.
Kyler, can you go overhead for us really quick? And you're going to really even see through here as Kyle flows through. You'll see just how much longer it is on the back end as far as distance and travel. Yeah?
Because my goal is to continue to let my follower have that flow through time. And if I'm just constantly going to the beat before the anchor, it's not that I can't set the point of 5 for an anchor in place. Remember, to me, that is still texture. If I can give a flow of the dance to give a little bit of space during the anchor time, I prefer that because it doesn't set style within the connection.
Yeah. Groovy, groovy, groovy. All right, so leaders, we're going to let you walk through your footwork drills today. Not just footwork, but I guess body work drill. How you're going to initiate through your whips, and we'll be back with the followers.
All right, so leaders, I'm just going to start facing back away just so you guys can get the understanding of my rotational initiation here. One of the pieces that we give in the in our toolbox would be the spooling. I use my spooling, especially in my whips, because I don't like this stagnant stand and pull in the whip. I want you to think of managing that whip through your rotation. So Kyler, if you can do the overhead for me, that'd be great. So now as we start this, we want to allow ourselves, leaders, not just to take this body and core back and fall back into our lead, or just pull our tail back and pull with our step. We want to allow the rotational initiation to be a part of that draw. So I've got 3 different ways that I can give the length. I can give length through my arm, or I can take the length from my arm. I can give the length through my rotation, or take the length from my rotation. And I can take the length from my feet so that I have the ability to manage that length for my follower with 3 different elements, yeah? So the more elements that I have, almost more like I get to fine tune every little action that happens, all right? So back overhead again. So as we set this up, leaders, you'll notice as we set our frame out ahead of us, and we can do this without our follower for a second, we can get that center of our body to be the hinge point of rotation. So if I can think, as I've opened up, if we think about our body opening in third foot position, there's going to be a natural balancing of rotation open. So back to front for a second, Kai. Your body will bisect the angle of your feet. So this is just kind of some knowledge for you. And my body will shape in the direction of the weighted foot. If I allow the balance and the tension in my hip flexors to kind of balance out in that space and don't hold myself. Of course I could lean and hold myself back against that space, but if I can, Kyla, do the overhead for me real quick. Because if my toes are open, let's see if I can back up a little bit. So you can see my toes here. My toes are open. My body is bisecting the angle. What does bisecting angles mean? Here's the angle of my feet. My body's cutting it in half, yes? Now my body will shape in the direction of the weighted foot. So as I back up even more, just so you can see more toes, as I lean this direction, my body, if I find the balance in my hip flexors a little bit, I should shape a little bit to my right because I'm headed over to the right side of my body. Same thing as I go to my left foot. So if I start with just my toes open and then I were to anchor to the right side of my body, I'm going to get a little bit more rotation and give to the left side of my body. So going back over, we're overhead still, so stay there. So if you put your foot forward where your partner's going to be in just a second, right? So there's my imaginary partner dancing in front of me. I've pointed my left toe at that person. I've taken my right foot, I put it in my third foot position. Kyler, if you can do the footwork view for just 1 second. Getting this turn out in my feet is super important. So I want to get this turn out here. So once I get that, instead of fighting that space to try and turn and face my follower and core out with my connection, I'm going to allow myself to leave that toe open and balance my rotation between my feet open. So if I put my weight all the way back to my right foot, leaders, you'll notice that the rotation will open up the shoulder just a hair more. So Kai, you might want to go for the overhead now. Once we get that space, we want to think, here we are open, my body is weighted towards my follower a little bit more because I'm on the front foot that's pointing at them, and as I go to step with my open toe here, my body's going to roll open. Now as I get to center, that's a certain amount of rotation, and now as I finish the weight over there, there might be just a little bit more. That little bit of give is what I allow myself to use with my follower to know when I've given while taking. So I'm able to settle my weight, allow my followers still take weight this direction so that as I'm preparing, my followers ready to move with me. This is crucial moments with your initiation, leaders, all right? So let's do this again. Keep it on the front view, Kai. We're good here now. So we're gonna go and anchor back over to this foot. So we're gonna go triple, and as we get this toe turned out, our body's gonna shape over to this. This is gonna narrow the connection on the left side over here to the right. It's gonna push the framework in just a little bit. Now to recover that, we're gonna be rotating close to spool forward to bring our follower with us for the 1. From here, as we bring our follower underneath us or bring our follow through into the 2, leaders, we're gonna cross in front. I know sometimes leaders will get the back on 2, like the back 1, 2. This creates a lift in framework that looks like it's going to be an outside turn for the follower. So you know that move that you do where you go 1, outside 2, change hands 3 and 4, anchor 5 and 6. That would be the way I would project that, is I would back into my 2. So I'd go back 1, back 2. This leaves the open door, it opens the framework up, not the kind of pattern I would want for a whip, not the kind of footwork I would want for a whip. So if you can in this moment, leaders, remember to keep that cross body positioning here. This ties us up a little bit so that we can feel the reception of our follower. Now we've got a negative resistance against the squeeze of slowing our follower down. So let's do that together now. So we've got our open toe, we're going to anchor into the space, 5, and open the toe just a little bit, let the body rotate open and narrow into the connection. From here we're going to back into the 1 and rotate close to bring our follower. Don't take a full weight transfer back onto that left foot, kind of leave your foot behind you. Now as you pick up the foot to step underneath you for 2, your body follow through, or your body initiation, is going to need an arm follow through to get your follower moving. From here we're going to recover our follower or receive our follower for 3 and. From here, leaders, I'm going to cross the slot for 4. Now, as I do that, as I go into 4, just the step across in my rotation is enough to bring my follower forward. So, Kyler, can you go overhead for me one more time? So as we go to step, this is my full extension at 3 and. Now, instead of pulling my follower with my step down line, I'm going to think rotate close to bring my follower forward. The rotation is enough. All I've got to do at this point is follow through with what I've initiated. So I've got initiation, then follow through in that hand from 4 to 5. So we are at 3 and. We cross the slot for 4, leaders. And keep your arm ahead of you. Now what I want you to do is I want you to imagine you've got to take what happened in the rotation and follow through with the bicep for 5. 5, out for 6, and I stay resisted against this rotational point, guys. I kind of conserve my rotation as I let the full length of my arm out, as I give my follower the length through rotation again for 7 and 8. So one more time from this angle, we're gonna get back for 1. We use the spooling to close that door. Cross in front for 2 as we follow through. Receive the follower with the right side of your body for 3 and. We're gonna cross the slot, bring it forward for 4. From here, we're going to draw forward with this and follow through for 5. Recover rotationally for 6. I'm resisted against this action so that my follower can pull this length out of my arm for 7 and 8. Go. 7 and 8. Back to normal view. So now, following through all the way with this, guys, let's do this together. I'll do this with you guys up here. Follow me. We're going to back up and rotate close for 1. Cross in front for 2. Recover and receive your follower for 3 and. Close the door, don't pull yet. 4, follow through 5, across, recover, and hold your rotation for 6. Open the door and give length for 7 and 8. That's your part, leaders. Here comes the followers.
Hello, followers. Hopefully you already know a basic whip. I'm gonna walk you through it real quick, just like Kyle just did. So, first thing we want to pay attention to is to really have our counterbalance ready to move forward and backwards. We want to be holding in both directions, yes? So I want you to think about it like this. I don't want you to think of arching your chest and arching your back. I want you to think of elongating your body and letting your hips fall behind your chest for a counterbalance. A great way to find this is to get to a flight of stairs. We also have this on the toolbox, balance 1 and balance 2. Check that out. So followers, because a whip will make us crazy, right? We're forward and backwards in every single basic. I don't want to overcommit with my top half. Will there be moments I do it stylistically? Absolutely, we're going to get to that. But first, we're going to walk the fundamentals, yes? Leaders will come back in with styling and then followers. Here's our basic fundamental. Followers, my 2 and my 5 of a whip, I keep as a variable. Cool? So do this with me and we can stay front facing forward. So followers, come forward for 1. On my 2, I judge my rotation based upon how far my leader has started that hook. Some leaders draw forward on 2, some will start to rotate, some will completely rotate you into 2, some won't even rotate you until you're 3 that's late at times stylistically. So I want to condition you to be ready for all of them. The best way to do that is to keep neutral on 2 when you're walking this by yourself. So I'm going to go right smack dab in the middle so that I'm prepared for different adjustments. Followers, come forward for R1. On R2, I'm going to judge this rotation based upon my leader, but for now I'm leading myself, rotating into 2. Now as I come into the 3, this is a big mistake a lot of followers have, and I have to fix this in a lot of workshops, is that this leg starts to swing out as it comes back. What I would like you to focus on the 3 is as you're rotating into that 2, at whatever point you go into that 3, I want you to think to draw back down line to continue that linear action so you can keep your travel going. On your 3, you're going to land, and now you're going to switch. Kyler, can you go to the overhead? So followers, I want to show you what happens on 3 and. Stay on the overhead. Followers, walk this with me, or you can watch. Come forward for 1. My rotation on 2 is neutral. On my 3, I'm not going to swing this momentum out and around because that's going to counter. I'm going to think of pulling straight back and through. Now, as I come to my and, I'm going to figure that I am going to use this as an anchor. So I wait to finish this and. Kyler, can you go to the foot view? I wait to finish this and just like an anchor for when I feel my leader make this switch up above in my body. So as soon as I feel that switch happen, I use that anchor and I don't drop hip yet. Now I'm gonna stretch on that hip when I feel my leader start to ask me to come forward for 4. But the same way on an anchor, as you release that hip, it releases your knee. I don't wanna prematurely do that. I wanna reserve that so that I have that hip to stretch and power out of for 4, 5, 6, yes? Kyler, you can go ahead and go back to your straight view. Good. So go ahead and do this with me, followers. We're going to stop on 3 and, yes? We're going to come forward for 1. Neutral rotation on 2. Pull straight back for 3. I'm going to anchor my and. I'm going to anchor that and step right underneath me. I'm going to weight it. I'm going to get to the left side of my body. And now I'm waiting for this lead right here, followers. As soon as I start to feel that initiation for my leader coming back, I time my hip stretch out with that to drive myself forward for my 5. My 6 is neutral, for my 4. My 5 is neutral, just like my 2. Then I pull, I'm not gonna swing this back out, I'm gonna pull it straight back through like I did my 3 to my 6, anchor, 7, and 8. Go ahead and go front forward for me, Kyler. We're gonna walk this together, followers. I'm gonna start facing you so you can be seeing me on 3 and. I want you to do that with me. So face away from the television. Let's stop on 3. Ready, go. Forward 1, neutral rotation for 2, pull straight back for your 3. You should be looking at me. You're going to then pull your hand underneath your body, roll through the ball of your foot, weight it, and now you're gonna wait to stretch till you feel that rotation to come forward for our 4, neutral 5, straight back through 6, 7, and 8. I'm gonna do it sideways for you. We're gonna go 1, 2, I'm ready to move forward, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Can I tell you, out of all the basics, the whip and the tuck are the 2 most important to be able to walk on your own, followers. They're very difficult counterbalance with changing from leverage and compression. And not really the whip. The tuck is even harder because it goes from leverage and compression, where in a whip, you're using just send to receive, just like any other pass you would. So now I'm gonna let the leader come in. You guys can walk that over and over again. Please get your whip clean. When you can do that, you're gonna be so confident. It'll be
All right,
crazy.
so we got to put this together. All right,
Let's
so
put it together.
let's put the TV to our right, leaders. Put our follower in front of us. Our goal in this.
Little string.
Oh, the string. All right, 4K, you can see everything.
Yep.
All right, so from here, we've got to think, rotate closed, leaders. Remember, we've settled our body open. So if you can, put your weight to the left side of your body.
Right foot forward.
So leaders, as we settle our weight back, it's going to narrow.
Overhead, Kai?
It's going to narrow in just a little bit. So as I anchor, because it puts me on my right side of my body, is if I didn't even rotate, if I just settled, that'd be enough of hey, I'm over on this side of my body.
Totally.
But then I've got to be able to give space for Sarah's hip to get back behind her right foot. So I've got to think, I've got to give length while giving rotational initiation or narrowing the slot.
And you have to be very careful not to actually cause rotation. That's why, followers, I won't commit to rotation till I get that tether moment.
Leaders, if you can too, are we overhead right
Yeah.
now? So leaders, right now, when I'm here, a lot of us, when we do this, we'll tie the connection to the front of our chest,
Totally.
and so this will push in a weird way.
This is most likely you, leaders.
If you can pull your energy to your back, when you go to narrow this, instead of feeding the rope out of the front of your body, I want you to imagine that the spool of rope is coming out the back of your body.
This is gold.
So if you can hold maybe a little bit more energy in the back of your body for a second, almost like you're gonna pinch a little bit back behind you, not like squeeze so much that you open up your chest and you butterfly open, but the idea is that the energy is pulling from the back of your body, not pushing in from the front of the body. So give me the front view for a second, Kai. So if you can, guys, one of the hardest parts within this is where do we tie this connection to us? And what we have to understand, leaders, is that this is a variable action that can be in front, it can be on the side, and it can be in the back. We have a lot of elements that we can do with this shoulder. This shoulder is one of those things that is it's there to buffer the excess movements that may be coming from your body so that your follower isn't getting extra information. All right, so we've got to be able to buffer that shaping through our shoulder line. All right, let's do this again with our partners. So when we narrow this, remember, let's connect to the back first. We've set the connection on the frame on the side, leaders. We're going to settle our weight to our right side, which is going to bring our follower to their left foot. And as we do that, we're going to rotate and give the length to that follower. And so that feeling should be from the back. Once we've got that space, we're going to close that door. Don't wait all the way back to your left foot, almost like a rock step. We're going to go rock, step. Now, people ask, how do I initiate this? Am I supposed to be doing this with a J-hook, a pull push? What do you
Kyler,
use?
can you go overhead?
For me, guys, circles make circles, so I use circles to make circles. So that means that my font here is going to be circular. I need to make sure that whatever I do here gets my follower to want to rotate. Now, some followers will respond to different things. Some followers will respond to the pull to the push, and that's how they may respond to rotation. Next followers might need to wait till the last second to then turn. That's something I look for in response orientation.
What do you
okay?
do when a follower can do it all?
I prefer to manage what I see happening in front of me. It's like asking, how much do I turn the wheel? Go ahead and flip back forward.
So then you actually allow for, your basics are built to allow for stylistic choices from the beginning.
Well, if you think about this, if I was going to drive my car and I need to make a right-hand turn, how much do I turn the wheel? It's not up 27 degrees every single time. 27 degrees.
It's dependent upon maybe how loose the steering was, or maybe a car coming, not coming.
Which lane am I going to go into? Am I pulling right and then turning right into a business?
Yeah.
Am I pulling into the center lane? Am I going all the left lane to make a left-hand turn? Who knows? And this is what I want you guys to manage in time, is how much do I rotate my follower? I have to watch as I pull this in how my follower's rotational response is affected, okay? So it's really up to you leaders to watch in time.
But your preference?
My preference, leaders, is that I get a circle here. That circle is going to get my follower to shape through the 2, moving into the 3 and. I don't try and stop this and break it down into moments, leaders, where it's 1, 2. I don't want to break that action. 1, 2, 3. If you can, break the whip up into 2 different parts. You have an entrance of the whip, and then you have the exit of the whip. And it's not based on the number. It's based solely upon the direction for lead. So I've got 1 lead per direction, right? So I'm going to think 1, 2, 3, and. Everything else is 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And so your goal should be to get that flow of the reception and the rotation of your follower to be something that happens all the way to 3 and. So let's do that together. We're going to catch in followers. We're going to get our followers to stop into the 3 and. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, and.
Followers, I haven't dropped my hip yet. I'm going to wait for that stretch when I feel my leader actually initiate his next redirection, or her.
Now, ready, down line. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now,
there's the fundamental.
Yes,
We're
now
gonna go on to
leaders.
some styling now.
Leaders, when you do this, to be able to manage the styling of what you want to do with this, the crucial piece of this is extension of your follower's right arm. If your follower has a loose leash, I hate to use that term.
I hate that term.
But it's the only way I know how to discuss
No,
loose rope to extension creates a pop in the connection. So my goal in this is that I try and keep this extension drawn out for my follower, so that no matter what I do over here, it's not just loose and going, okay, I hope something happens, release my follower, da-da. Don't want that feeling. I've got to be able to set this up to my follower gets constant connection all the way through this. 2, I draw the connection back, and I feed the rope to my follower, keeping not a resistance against my follower, but enough connection in this to draw the framework out, okay? I don't slack the rope ever. I really don't. Okay, so here's our goal. We're going to think 1, 2, 3, and. Now, so that my follower knows what's going to be happening here, I'm going to think cross the slot but go all the way around. I'm going to think 4. Now my change in this, leaders, is because I have extension here, I'm going to be able to continue all the way around my follower for 5, out for 6, anchoring 7 and 8. So my goal is to extend the rotation by 1 extra half rotation.
And the best time to do that would be on the single time rhythm, yeah?
Yes, because once I've done 3 and, I've got to project to my follower that it's not just going to be the normal exit. Because if I'm just going to normally exit, the stretch extension here is pretty normal. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But now as I get into this, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to start to think as I go into my 4 that it's going to be circular at this point. So I'm not going to think downline for my follower. I'm not just going straight across the slot. I'm going to think project around for 4.
Followers, this is a time that we're going to use the flare of the leg to give us just a little bit of an accent, right? We're on our right foot. We're going to flare into this 5.
We're going to walk into the 5. 5. We've got
Flare.
our 6 leaders, and we're going to release our follower away from us for 7 and 8. Now, it's harder to do when you do this just breaking it down, but you have to go through it, right?
Especially because some of us don't have partners right now. And followers, I know it's really tedious right now waiting for the leaders to get through each of their lead parts. But my gosh, it helps me so much knowing what the leader is wanting to produce and project out of the lead, that many times it builds me as a follower. So first, followers, I'm going to take you through your footwork. Leaders, you'll go through afterwards, yeah?
Yeah.
So, followers, Kyler, can you go to the footwork view for me? Awesome sauce. All right, followers, so what we're gonna go from right now, just to start, we're gonna go ahead and face me. You're gonna go onto your right foot forward for your 4. This is your 4. Now what's happened on that 4 is the leader has started to rotate you a little bit. So you're gonna feel a twist in your body on 4. Yeah, you're gonna feel this. You're gonna wanna naturally flare this on 5. you're gonna bring it all the way around, but your leader is gonna continue to travel around, so you're gonna flare out. Now to do this, I'm gonna stay taut in my upper body. I'm twisted. I'm gonna hold that twist in the top right shoulder. Pull the right shoulder back, back, back. Good. You should feel a pull against that hip. You may even feel it into your right hip right now. That's okay. You should be plied into it. You're going to allow and think of pulling that left foot around by pulling your right shoulder back. Boom. You're going to step on that for 6. Your leader's going to come back around and the same thing's going to happen. You're going to flare that back right leg around for 6. Anchor, 7 and 8. Do this again with me, followers. You're going to come forward. I'm going to go sideways with the footwork view so you can do this with me. Come forward on your right foot for 4. You're going to now come forward and add some rotation by pulling your right shoulder back. 4. That's what's happening in the lead. It's going to cause you to pull that right shoulder back as you flare your toe. When you do, turn that toe out, fold the hip, step on it for 5. You're going to feel that around, yeah? It's going to continue. You're going to feel that twist, and you're going to flare this back foot around as you're driving back from the right. Fish, fish, fish. Get there on 6. Anchor, 7 and 8. I'm going to go all the way through, front facing, yeah? So here we go, followers, together with me. We're going to go from the top. 1, 2, 3, and you're going to feel the torque on 4. You're going to flare this back leg around for 5. Flare the back leg around for 6. Anchor, 7 and 8. Cool beans? Leaders, your turn. We'll put it together in a moment, followers.
All right, our step through on this, leaders, so we've got to make sure that's something orange on the ground. So leaders, as we're hitting into this, we've got to think back on the 1-2 natural, control the 3 and. Now as I start to step into this, I think of banking my turn a little bit. So I'm thinking my 4 is going to almost come around to where it's almost offset a little bit. Instead of it being flat across like I would normally do in my basic one, I'm kind of heading around my follower on the 4. Okay, I've started to pull a little bit, maybe draw my right shoulder around. I'm going to cross in front on my 5. I'm going to continue to pull all the way with my back of my right shoulder, leaders. I've got connection right in my, almost like my shoulder blade is trying to pinch and catch my left shoulder blade. My right shoulder blade is pulling around and trying to catch my left shoulder blade. Yes, so one more time. We've got back for 1. We've got catch for 2, receive for 3, and. From here as we go for 4, 4 is going to be a little bit offset. We're going to draw with our right shoulder back, so we cross in front and continue to rotate into 5. 5. Now as I continue to walk around, 6, I've now seen a line that I can lead my follower out on. Now our goal into this is not to make our followers run away from us at this point, leaders. I want to set my 6 at this point, and I want to run away from my followers. So if you can go to the overhead view for a second. So leaders, don't think of staying in place after 5, 6. I want you to think of traveling down line and almost setting this connection here for yourself for 7 and 8 so that you're moving away from your follower. My goal in this is to teach you, leaders, how to get the flow of your connection here to be transferred to your flight. Okay, so instead of like leaving your follower out to walk around and then throw them away from you, you want to stabilize the follower because you are creating something new for them. So my goal is to stabilize the 6. Yeah, let's do that together. So we're going to back up for the 1, rotate the 2, receive 3, and start to sneak around for 4. I want you to pull really far around your right side, leaders, for 5. I want you to continue around for 6. Once you set the 6 line, whether it's on this line heading that direction or that way on the other side, you're still finding the slot line again, all right? Once we've set 6, I want to post myself here, leaders. To do that, I'm going to take cross in front for 7. I'm going to recover open for and I'm going to give the length to my follower for 8. And I'm actually giving myself the length. I'm just trying not to pull my follower out of their anchor moment. I've got to give enough space for my follower to still be able to be on this foot, but then be in the back of that left foot so they can anchor on that moment. So it's your goal, leaders, to give enough space for the anchor. Yes? One more time and we're moving on. Back 1, 2, receive, 3, and. I'm going to go all the way around. 4, 5, release the 6, leave your follower there, cross 7 and open the door 8, and then just do a sugar push to clean it up. Yeah? With our follower, it looks like this.
Alrighty, let's do it together.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and recover, sugar, 2,
Can you go overhead,
3,
Kai?
4, 5. From here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
One more time for
2,
me.
3. Did I not go far enough around?
No, you were pretty hard.
1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. 6. We're also in a tighter space here as well, leaders. One of the things I want you to see that I do is I will cross sometimes. So as I let my follower at a 6, I'll cross and cross. So not to pull my shoulder all the way open. I'll keep myself closed here for a minute so that when I finish my anchoring, I have that give before I take my follower to the next piece.
Followers,
Whoa.
you want to make sure that if you feel the need to lower into that 6 as you're coming on that back one and you find yourself lowered and you're like, gosh, I'm gonna rush to that triple. I keep finding myself anchoring back this way. Could also be because of the speed changes in Kyle's counting.
I don't speed change.
Let's try it one more time.
5, 6, 7, 8. Ready?
Go.
And 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, Sarah, when you do that, do you find that you're waiting for a moment to then put the sweep in, put the sweep in?
This is what happens. The first sweep didn't happen a couple times because you didn't rotate enough on 4 to tell me that it was going to be a bigger rotation.
Okay.
That torque wasn't caused in my body. So I wasn't going to force that slide. I love it when I love to do stylistic choices to react to pattern work so that it looks like a continuation. And then if I feel my leader needs inspiration or I'm feeling a moment, I'll also use introduction in the beginning of the, like introduction to movement or angles at the beginning of the pattern. But once we're smack dab in the middle of it, I don't think that that's time to like adjust when we already know what we're working with.
Gotcha.
And my leader's under 1. So on the 4, if you would have given me a 4, give me a good torque on that. You're gonna see it's hard not to.
Oh, yeah, because I really
Right.
stepped into
But
it.
when you do it light, go ahead and do one light. I don't feel that torque on the first one, so I end up just doing a small, but I'll maybe adjust this a little bit and it's a lot easier to get to the triple. But
So
when
you say the
really give me
6,
that
you
torque,
probably catch the 6 as a flare more often than you catch the 5 as a
totally.
flare.
But if you take that 4 really, really tight,
Okay.
like you do sometimes, it makes me want to stabilize by bringing that.
Right, now if I did that much torque at the front of it, would you need the
Yes,
The-
to
the
control the
6?
momentum and to slow you down. Think about this.
would you need the flare on 6 though?
Yes. I would need the flare on 6 to be able to dissipate the energy that's been built up. Here's the deal.
You can also
Part of
add to it.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yes. Yin yang. But absolutely to me, because of my size, I think that influences it. If I had a couple more inches of height, like a normal sized person, I may not need as much help in controlling or dissipating the momentum. I will say this, if I'm doing that with the #1 leader in the world, imagine that I probably would have to do that with most leaders. Right?
Yeah.
I have to always sometimes think about what are my followers going through, because maybe they're not following somebody who's refined. Maybe they are following somebody who's in the middle of learning, or even a lower level, where I can teach the followers to help facilitate the connection and manage the momentum.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So one more time.
Absolutely. One more time.
All right, here we go. Crossing it up. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and beautiful.
We had so much fun with you guys today. We love our Wednesdays with our members. And if you're here for the first time and just dropping in to watch the class, thanks for coming.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you, Andreas Kasper in Germany, for all your lovely, lovely,
Staying up till 4 in the morning to help us with this.
Thank
we
you
do
to
appreciate
Kyla
you.
Red on the production side of
Our
the
producer.
camera, our producers, and to Tom Perlinger for the floor, and to
Thank you for showing
Amazon
up.
for the curtains. We love you guys, and we can't wait
Remember,
to put our arms around you again.
Every Wednesdays we're here. Let your friends know. You don't necessarily right now have to be a member to be a part of this.
You can do drop-ins.
You can do drop-in classes. Let them know if they just want to try us out. They can come join us, see what we have to offer. But why spend twice the amount of money?
Don't forget, you're going to see this popping up, 7-11. We are doing a practice partner choreography. We're going to be doing a 2-hour intensive teaching you something to practice to a song. The level is, we have 2 different levels. We're teaching it simultaneously.
It's called our convenience workshop.
Yeah.
7-11.
7-11.
No.
Convenience with your practice partner.
All right, guys.
Bye, you guys.
We'll be back next week. Love you all.
Bye.